Yeah, hi. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks for confirm. Okay, so today is the first session for week three for the summary. So we will discuss the summary of the week three. Before that, if you have any query, then you can ask in the initial time. Anyone have any query?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. Okay, then we will start the content of the week three. So now the main content of the programming is actually started in week three. I hope you have watched the video lectures, and if uh, and I hope you have tried to some code in the week three. Actually, that programming assignments is now open. Okay, so we will discuss that. I think in Friday session also that instructor have discussed the interface of the programming assignment. If someone not join, you can watch that session also, or today we will also discuss again. Okay, if you have any doubt regarding that. So let me share my screen first and then we'll discuss. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. So now you can see in week three, there are two types of additional assignments are added from week three. Now this PPA, okay, and not graded. So means practice programming assignment. Okay, so these PPAs are only for the practice. So these assignments doesn't have any marks or these are not graded actually. Okay, so PPA one, PPA two, three, four, five, six. Okay, so 1 second. Yes, seven. Hmm. So seven PPA one to PPA seven. Now these assignments are only for the practice, and after that this GRPA. These are that graded assignments. Okay, so that is similar to your that graded theory assignments. So like in these week. From week three onwards, you will get all types of assignment, this theory type of assignments and another programming type of assignments. So how the score will be calculated for this peak is actually 50% weightage is for theory assignment. Okay. Now this theory assignment 50% weightage it has. Now for the all programming assignment, suppose you have the GRP 1 to GRP 8. 8 programming assignment questions are there in this week. So average of all 8 programming assignments that will be converted into a another 50% weightage of this week. Okay, so all theory and programming assignment have the equal weightage 50-50% weightage in this week, then your score will be calculated. Okay, 50% of your theory assignment plus 50% of your average of all graded programming assignments. So this is the weightage for the from the week 3. Okay, so do not skip any this programming assignment from week 3 because this also have the 50% weightage. Regarding the interface, so let me revise once again if someone not joined the previous session, so you can understand that. So this is the one interface we have in this portal. Okay, so this is the one type. Okay, and this is told this as a old that interface. Yeah, someone raise the hand, please ask a query if you have any.
Yes, sir. I want to ask you that how do we write this programming?
So that I am discussing now.
Actually, this is all about the new forest. That's why I'm asking.
Yes, because of that, I am discussing everything regarding this. Okay, so yeah, so this is third week. So now this is the programming assignment we have. We have two type of interface on our portal. This is old interface actually, old UI. UI means user interface. So here you can do this all things regarding this programming assignment. This first part is actually a problem statement. Okay, problem statement this have, and you can read the problem statement and you can understand the input. Okay, and according to the input what should be the output of the program. Okay, so the sample input and output is given here. Now question statement is complete the program to calculate the sum of first and natural number. Okay, You are given an integer n, calculate the sum of the first n natural number and store the result in the integer variable sum. Okay, so this is the question statement given, and after that you have to select the language from this combo box. Okay, so this here you have to select the language. Only one language is coming because this is C course, so we are only giving the option for C. So when you select the C, now this interface is open. This is editor. You can see the some code is already there. Okay, in this editor. So this is called as a editor. This gray part where the line number is visible to you. Okay, and here some gray part is there. So that gray part, gray color you can see. This part is already written. This is called as a fixed code. Okay, this is prefixed code we are giving. You need to write. Actually, you need to complete this code. Here some part of the code is already given. The initial gray part is actually called as a prefix code. Okay, and the remaining last part is called as a suffix code. This is also a fixed code. You cannot update this, you cannot change this. You need to complete this code by writing the code in between where is actually the white area is there. Okay, you can type in between anything. Okay, like this you can type, enter, type and enter. You can increase your line in this way. Okay, type and then enter, so you will get a more line to type. But you cannot edit the code which is already given, like this gray and gray part code. Okay, so this is the written code in this editor. So B3, we are not asking to write a mostly complete code, or we are also giving many that pre-written code. You need to just complete this code by writing some expression. Okay, so big three basically what we are learning operators, expression, variables, all this basic about the C programming. Now you need to complete this code, and we have also means we are also discussing the PPAs. We will discuss the PPAs and what are the meaning of these basic things which are already written. Okay, and that things we will discuss. So what is this? Okay, and in between you need to complete this code. So this is the editor where you need to write the code. Okay, where the white line is there, you can only write in that place. Maybe some another code, another program, you will not find a any code like this. So let me check if any code is there. So here also you have this type of code. Okay, here also we have. Hmm. So here you can see, here this editor is completely empty. Okay, so there is no prefix and suffix is given. So here you need to write the complete code. You can type anything in this area. Okay, sometimes what will happen, actually some fixed code will be there, but that code will not be visible to you. Okay, so that is some requirement for the configuration. So we will configure some hidden code in this editor. You cannot see that, but you need to write the code which is required according to the problem statement only. Okay, if problem statement, so that type of code you will see in the later week. So suppose if we are asking to write a function for the program, so only write a function. Okay, do not read the input or nothing, only write a function, and that do the required thing which is mentioned in the question statement. So this type of question will also be come in the later week, but in week 3 only you need to complete the code. And in this question there is no code is given, but some template is given in the question statement itself. You can simply copy this. Okay, and complete this code by just reading these comments. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? Okay, and just complete this statement. This is actually comment, and write the instruction according to this. Okay, so you can simply copy this code from this template, and you can paste here. Okay, now just write complete this code according to the comments. So this is the editor where you need to write the code. Okay, after writing the code, uh, if you feel that your code is correct, okay, then you can click on this test run button. So there are two buttons, test run and submit button. So test run buttons are actually will run this code on the public test case. Okay, so these test cases which are visible to you, these test cases are called as a public test case. So what is the meaning of test case is actually here what input we are giving to the program. Okay, and for that input what should be the output, this you can see here. So input means what input we are giving to the program, and what should be the output for that input. So this is also you can see. Now what actual output your code is actually returning, so that will print here in the actual output. Okay, that output will be come from your code which you have written in the editor. If actual output and expected output both are exact same, so that means this test case will pass. Okay, so our expected output or actual output should be exact match according to the question statement. So you can see some basic inputs in the public test case. So this is the input, this should be the output, and what your code is returning. Okay, actual output. So you can verify your code, you can verify your logic, all these things by looking this public test case. If you feel that your logic is correct, your code is working fine or for the all in type of input test case, then you can click on the submit button. So submit button actually runs a similar type of different test case. Okay, that means the input will be different, but the test case will be like a similar type of, we will pass some input and your some output should be come, and that output should be matched by your that code output, but you cannot see that input. Okay, that are actually a private hidden test case. Okay, so that are private hidden test case, you cannot see that. If your code logic is correct, definitely that private test case should will also be passed. Okay, if your code is not passing the private test case, that means something wrong in your logic, so you have to again check your logic. So let me just explain one PPA, so how that is actually works. Okay, so like this problem statement. So according to the complete the program to calculate the sum of the first n natural numbers. You are given an integer n, calculate the sum of the first n natural numbers and store the result in the integer variable sum. Okay, so let me just, you can also expand this in the full screen like this. Okay, and you can also increase the text by clicking on this plus button. And after so let me just complete this. So what is the meaning of each line here? Okay, I'm removing this. Ha. So here some basic structure is given, that of the code. This is very common structure for the each program you will see. So here this include stdio.h. So this is actually a header. This stdio. Is a header and this is a preprocessor. Actually we include some library to in our program, so that library contains some predefined function, and that function we directly used for some purpose in our program. So that here you can see this is a one predefined function scanf. So scanf purpose is just read one input from the that input or console. Okay, just read some input value from the console. And there is one another function printf. This is for print some output to the console. Okay, so this is reading the input and printing the output. So these are some two functions which we are directly using. Okay, so that function is defined inside this library. Okay, we call it as a header. So stdio.h, we are including this library in our program because we want to use this type of function input and that is scanf and printf. Okay, so most of the program we will read some input and we will print some output. So these are very common library we will always add actually. Okay, and after that this int main, this is called as a function. Okay, this main is actually called as a function where this first value is actually a return type of the function. Okay, so that things do not worry, because just keep this thing in the mind. This is actually a required function for the every program, main function. Okay, later in week 5 we will discuss the separately what is function. Okay, we will in the detail. But just remember that this is the one function called as a main. Okay, this name is fixed, and this is the required function for the C program. Actually, when we run this code, compiler will always check this main function first and start execution from the first instruction of this main function. Okay, so compiler will check where is the main function in the code, and inside the main function what is the instruction, first instruction. So that instruction execution will start from this point. Okay, inside the main, and execution will start from this line by line. Okay, so this first line, then second line, like this. So this is the required function for each program. We can also write another functions. We can give any name of the function, but this is the one required function for the main C program. So here first thing is the data type. We want to use some variable to store some data. Okay, and this thing we will also discuss in the summary. But here for this question actually, int is a data type. What type of data we want to store in this n variable? Okay, so this variable is just a naming or label. We can say that we are giving some label, and this label is actually connected to some memory place, and memory actually contain the data. So here this n, because the label we can generally remember, we cannot remember the address of memory. Okay, address of the memory is generally represented by hexadecimal and binary, some representation, long representation, so that we cannot recall or remember. So generally we give some name to that memory location, that is called as a variable, we generally say. Okay, so we are giving here n. This n will store some data. What type of data? Integer type of data. Okay, so we have, this is the declaration of this variable. So we are telling to the compiler, we will store some integer data into the n. Okay, that type data type is integer. Okay, now we have declared this variable. Now we will read the input for that variable. This is from console. So this function actually will ask some value to input from keyboard. So that once we will enter some integer value from the keyboard. It that And after that we will click the enter button on the keyboard. That data will be stored in this location. Okay, so this and symbol is represented the address of that and variable. Okay, so that location, our data will store. Okay, and later we can use that data with the help of this name n directly. Okay, we can place this n at any place to compute or calculation. Okay, now we are reading the input, and this is the empty place where we need to do the processing part. After that, once our solution is now done, then we will print our solution. Okay, solution should be stored here, sum. This is also a one variable that will contain a sum of that first and natural number, and that part we need to complete here in between. Okay, so now this is the predefined question. Yeah, return statement. Yeah, this return statement, because we have mentioned the type of this main function integer. Okay, so if our function have some return type, that means we need to return some data of that type. Okay, so that we are returning 0, but this return things we will explain in detail in the when the function will come. Okay, here actually this return value 0 is for the operating system to our computer. That indicates something. The 0 means when this program will return 0 to the operating system after running. So that means our program is completed successfully without any issue. Okay, so this is just a indication to the operating system or our computer that that program is running successfully without any hardware or any issue type. Okay, so there are some meaning for the operating system of this return value 0. Generally in the main function we write this int and return type, and return 0 we write here. Okay, so right now you can just note down these things. So you can use this. Otherwise you can use the void here. Void is also even another data type that means absent of the value. Okay, there is no value. So in that case, no need to return anything. If you are writing a void statement here, no need to return anything here. But generally we indicate to the operating system that our program is successfully. Because of that, we are returning 0 here. So the main purpose is what you can remember right now here. This is the main part. Write a header file first, and this is the main function definition. So that int main, and this is the identification of function, open bracket and close bracket. In between, we can also pass some parameter that we will discuss later. So but this is the identification of function. If you are getting this type of a structure for any uh, that part of the program, like name and then open and close bracket, that means this is a function. And then open brackets. So here the body is actually main function, body is a start, okay, and this is the close and parenthesis, okay. So this is end of the body. So in between, what we are writing, that are actually a statements, line by line statements. So that statement will be executed by the processor one by one. So now need to complete this. uh, so yeah, anyone tell me any direct formula for this? Okay,
Yes, sir.
because we have not learned any loop or anything till now in the C. So just tell me that any direct formula to calculate this solution.
Yes,
Real.
n into
Yes,
n plus 1 by 2.
Yes, correct. Okay, so this is very common formula. So if you want to calculate the sum of first n natural number, so first n natural means if
Excuse
n
me, sir.
yes, yeah, please ask.
Sir, what's the use of this stereo.h?
So this is actually a library where some predefined definitions are there. So some predefined codes are there. Okay, stdio.h means standard input output. Okay, so that means this library means there is a one another program that contain the complete program for some function which we will directly use in our program. Okay, so that is actually here scanf. Okay, scanf is for reading the input, and printf function, this is just a printing the output. Okay, so these are main two functions we generally use for our program. So that we are directly using this printf. Okay, and this open bracket and close bracket, so that means this is a function, and we are passing some data inside in between. So that means we are passing some data to this function, and after that this function will perform some task, okay, in the back end. So where is the actually code written for this task? So that is written inside this library. Okay, so this is also a one new program. Same here, scanf. This is also a function, open bracket, close bracket. In between, we are passing some parameters, and this function will also perform some task which is defined inside the that stdio.h library, that this library. So similar way, we can also use another library. So you later you will see that math library, math.h. So where all many math function will are actually already defined, and you can directly use that function to get some output. Like you want to calculate some log value, okay, for any value. So you can directly call the log function from this math library, and you can get the output. If you want to if you want to calculate some square root value, so you can directly use the function and call that function, and that function will return a answer for that value. Okay.
So what about the hashtag include? It's only represent the library, right?
No, has include is a preprocessor directive. Okay, so preprocessor is just it is telling to the compiler that before compilation some preprocess operation is required. So that operation is just a including this library into your program. Okay, so include, this is just a indication to the compiler. Some there is one more one additional program we have called as a preprocessor. So that before actually run compilation of this program, this library will also be included in your code. Okay, so that actually some indication to the that compiler.
Okay, sir. Sir, one more thing. When we use int and when we use void.
So yeah, that is depends on our programming purpose. So what type of function we are using, okay, and what type of data we need to return from our function. if we no need to return anything from our function, so we will write a void. Okay, so void simply a data type, that means absence of data. Okay, and that means none, nothing. Okay, and int means, if we are returning if we are writing a int, so that means this function should return some integer value. If we are writing a char, that means this function should return a char value. But right now you will not understand if you are only using this main function. I'll just also explain in the summary that what is the main actually purpose of this return things from the function. Okay, you will see this in the detail in the later from the week 5 onwards, when the function will start. Okay, right now for main function we are writing this int and returning 0. This is just a in this function will return a 0 after executing all the statement before that. So this will return a 0, and that value will be returned to the operating system, just to indicate that this program has run successfully. Just okay. Okay, so that we
Yes,
will
sir.
discuss also one by one. So I am just explaining this interface first. Yeah, Durgesh, you have raised the hand. Any query? Dharma, hello, Dharma. Answer to the week one grade assignment. Okay, which assignment? Week one, and you are telling very late actually. Okay. Yeah, Dharma, please, can you unmute yourself and ask? Just tell us. And Durgesh, do you have any query? According to the answer to the 15th question in week one assignment should be 4, but the answer is given as a 8. Okay. Okay, so let me check that also, but just let me complete this. Okay, so here this is now this is the code part where we are declaring some variable of type integer to store some data of integer, that we will read some data through this function from the console. After that we will calculate. So yeah, for calculation. Okay, so now let's complete this code. So we know the formula for to calculate the sum of first n natural number. Okay, so here n may be anything, so that we will read from the input. So n may be like 5. So that means our output should be 1 plus 5 plus 2, sorry, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Okay, this calculation should be come in our answer. So here we know that there is a one variable defined which actually is printing the output sum, but it is not declared anywhere in the program. So first we have to declare that like this int and sum, because our solution will also be a integer type. So that means if we are adding any integer value 1 2 3 4 5, we will get the integer output. Okay, so because of that we are declaring the type of integer sum, and after that we will use our formula. So n into, so here we cannot write like this. Okay, so n into n plus 1 divided by 2. Okay, and this is the term, that syntax expression endpoint colon. So here this is looking like a correct expression for the normal use. When we write this type of expression in our copy or pen by this, so we can write like this. But for computer we have to tell to the compiler what operation is actually happening in the each part of the expression. So we cannot write like this, so we have to tell to the we have to write like this multiplication. Okay, so we are doing the multiplication in n and this bracket part. Okay, and after that we are dividing by 2. So now this is the complete expression in the terms of computer. So in this case now we have written this single line expression. Let me just make incorrect this. So I am writing minus first. Okay, so this is incorrect formula. So that means let's check that what is actually returning. So where I'm clicking on this test run button, now you can see, let's just scroll down. Okay, Error expected. Where is the error? Okay, see function main test, see error expected before the call. Okay, any bracket is missing. Oh yeah, this close bracket is coming.
The extra.
Extra bracket. Yeah, so this things is actually very important in the C. Just make the proper combination of the open bracket and closed bracket in everywhere in the program. Okay, so if you have open, if you are using any open bracket, so that corresponding closed bracket should be there. Okay, so just make sure that. So now you can see we are getting this error. So now let's run again. Hmm. So you can see for the public test case, we can see the output. Okay, so this is the input 5. Now you can verify that output should be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So that you can validate your output so that 15 answers should be come from by the correct code. But your code is returning 10. Okay, so that expected output or actual output is actually not matched. So that means this test case will actually not passed. So you can see the status of here 0 out of 5 test case passed. Okay, so no test case are actually matching the output. And matching means exact matching. Okay, so you cannot print like this. So suppose if we are asking to print a hello world with the one space in between, hello and one world, and you are printing hello and then two space then world. Okay, by mistake you have added one more space in between, so that will also be not match. Okay, so matching means exact match, no additional space, no additional character should be there in your matching. So here 15, here 10 not matched, so that is just indication here. Okay, and also if you when you click on the submit button, so other test input which are you cannot see, that will actually run on your code, and you can only see the status that how many test cases are passed, but you cannot see the input. So let's run that. Hmm. So you can see this message submission successful, 0 out of 5 private test case pass. So these are the test case, private test case actually have the marks. These public test case which are visible actually doesn't have any marks. Okay, your private test case should be passed. Okay, 0 if you are like 2 out of 5 test case pass means you are getting 40 marks out of 100 for this question. Okay, you will get like this partial mark. So in this way, now test cases are not matching. So let's correct this logic. Uh, Plus and again click on the test run button, and do not forget the submit button. Okay, so suppose if you are writing the solution, just click on the test run button and left, so that actually will not include your marks. So always click on the submit button and check your private test case status. Okay, so now you can see when we have corrected the logic or our formula, now both value are similar, 15 15, 55 55, both all are same, so status is also same. Corrected now, 5 out of 5 public test case pass. Let's click on the submit button. Okay, now you can see submission successful, 5 out of 5 private test case pass, so that means now your submission is successfully done. Okay, and you can also see status here, last submitted on graded this, and this is the status, 5 out of 5 private test case pass. Okay, and you can submit any number of time before the deadline. Okay, and but last submission should be correct. Suppose if you have submitted one first time correct but second time incorrect solution, so only your last submission should be checked for the marking. So just keep this thing in your mind, always last submission should be correct for the, okay, for the marks. So this is one interface we have for the programming. Now when you click on this try new UI, okay, on the right top, this is actually a now new UI we have created, which is actually more look good looking and more comfortable. Yeah, so here you can just close this for menu things. Okay, and now here you can see the question window and editor on the single page. Okay, so in the previous that interface, you have to scroll. After reading the question, you have to scroll that. But here, question statement you can read on left side, and you can write your code on the right side. Okay, so this is the code page. Some feature are actually not in the working, so just wait for this. Is actually just in the developing phase. So what feature we have that are actually enough. So here, question statement you can see, and after that you can read the question statement, and you can also see the summary of your last status. And you, if you want to see public test case, click on this test case button. Okay, so here you can see all test case: input, expected output, actual output. Click on the test case like this. Okay, these are the public test case. Private you cannot see. Solution, the solution tab will be up enable after the deadline. Okay, sorry. So once the deadline will over, this solution, our solution actually, okay, your solution will be visible on your editor, but our what is the our solution we have, that you can also see in this solution tab. So this is one page interface, and this is also very similar. You can click on this test run button, and here any test cases failed, you will see in the red color. Okay, let me just check. Minus, if I click this, now you can see all test cases are now red. Okay, so that means some error is there. So you can see the output are not matched for the each test case. And status is, previous status is this public. Now this is updated, and this is the previous private test case. Now 0 out of 0 test case pass. So this is also updated. Okay, once you will done these things, sorry. So here, okay, so let me n plus 1. So when I click again on this, you can increase the font, and now all test cases are passed. So same type of status you can see here. And if suppose you are getting any error, like big error, so you can also pop up this window like this. Okay, you can click on this, so you can explore this type of feature of this portal. You can copy the input and check in your local that editor like this. So this is the new interface we have for the, say, on the same portal. And if you want to return back in the old UI, just click on this top down button, switch to the old UI. Okay, then you will jump to the previous type of UI. So which UI you are comfortable, you can use. Okay, now you can see the previous UI. This is, so this is the programming interface you have. I hope every part is clear in this UI. Any query in this, anyone?
It is clear, sir.
Okay, so that's fine. So yeah, one more thing. From this week, because the programming content have already started now, so we are starting one more, not one, two additional session, live session. One is on Wednesday, 8 to 10 p.m. Another is Sunday, 2 to 4 p.m. Okay, so that session is only for the programming part, and main focus is only to practice for the programming exam for this course. Okay, so those who are actually term students, okay, those who are term students, or those who are qualified student and want to continue this course in the same after qualifying. Okay, so please attend that session definitely. And also those who are qualified right now, you can also attend. Okay, just to understand the programming. So that session is only for the programming part. Yes,
Sir, you can again repeat the dates.
so that is available in your calendar. So if you will see the Google calendar, So we have scheduled. So again, I'm telling you. Let me. This is the calendar. So one is Wednesday. This 8 to 10 p.m. Okay, just check the Google Calendar, and this is scheduled in your Google Calendar 8 to 10 p.m. And another is Sunday. So from Sunday 2 to 4 p.m. And this is programming exam practice session. Okay, only programming type of questions will be discussed in this session basically. Okay, so now we have total 5 live sessions, so actively join this session. Basically this programming session do not miss, because this is programming course, definitely practice is required. This is not a learning type of reading type of course. This is the this required a practice of the writing the code. Okay, this course required a writing skills, code writing skills. Okay, then you can understand everything easily. If you type, suppose right now maybe you will feel that how you can remember the syntax, like this printf scan, how you can remember. But these type of course, if you write any syntax 10 to 20 times, uh, okay, then definitely that syntax will automatically store in your mind. Okay, so write first time, just use the resource. Okay, if you are feeling that what is the syntax of for loop, you are not able to remember, just check the resource, check there are lots of resource online available. Just check the what is the syntax of the for loop in the C, in the Google, that Google will help you, and just use this. Okay, but use this just type every time by your own. After that, after typing 10 to 20 times what one syntax, you will easily recall that later. Okay, so this is the only way to remember the syntax of the programming for any type of programming. Okay, so now this is the coding interface. I hope this is clear to everyone, and you can start writing. So first week we are only discussing this thing, just completing. So here you can see this formula is given. Now just complete the program. Okay, so some input is already, input and output part have already done in the program. Now you can, first thing you can understand that what actually each line is doing. Okay, in the some question, so maybe later some question the complete part you have to written, but after solving many question, you can understand that how we are reading the input. Okay, that I'll also explain one by one in the summary. Okay, I hope any query, if you have any in this, so you can ask. Otherwise we can start the content of the b 3. Okay, yeah, someone, yeah, Jim, go ahead.
Sir, can you explain what does the percentage D do in this, and how will we use the percentage D?
So that is actually also a one indication for the what type of data actually we are reading or that printing. So some format specifier are there for the each type of data. So if we want to print, where is the, sorry, one second. This is the, okay. Hmm, here. Okay, so this actually for each type of data, what type of data we want to read. So some format specifier are there for each type of data we have to represent in this function. So what, so this principal is the variable. Okay, and what type of this variable is? This variable is of type double. So for double, we have some indication. This is called as a format specifier, and we have to return this to just as a parameter for the function. Okay, so that function will understand that what type of data we are reading from the input. Okay, if we are writing percentile d, that means we are reading integer type of value. If we are writing percentile c, so that is the indication as a character, we are reading character type of data for this variable. Similarly for the output, if we are printing some float value, okay, and so that some indication is like double value also, so double is also considered as a float. So we write this specifier percentile that lf. Okay, and what is the meaning of this point 2 is here actually, because in the decimal part, so mainly we will get a very large digit after the decimal point. Okay, so like 16 value or 8 value something, but we want to only print two decimal point after the decimal. point. Okay, 2 digit after the decimal point. So this is the indication for the compiler that we want to print only this 2 decimal point. So these are some parameters required for this printf function, and this is the indication that what type of data we are actually using for this function. Okay, some indication we are passing to the function. Okay, so that things is called as a format specifier, comes under the data types. Okay, so each type of data has this type of indication, so that we will discuss. Okay, any other query?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's move to the content and some that summary of this week. So I have this notes. I'll use this and percentage. Oh, where? Someone asked 1 second. Percentile dot slf. Uh, okay, so this is also represents s. I have not used or 2lf. Okay, yeah. So that 2lf means lf means long float. Okay, so long float is just a representation for the double. Actually, if we have any variable type of double, so let me open again. So you can see this what is the given here. So double variable simple interest. We are storing the result in this double variable. So double is a data type of the one type of the float actually. Okay, normal float data type contain the less that less digit after the decimal point, but double is actually more accurate, that contain more digit after the decimal point. So this is a one type of float, or we generally said that as a long float. So here this is the format specifier for this type of data type. Okay, but this point 2 is indicating that in this data, this float data, there are lots of digit will come after the this decimal point, but we will only print two digit after the decimal point. Okay, so this is the point 2 meaning here. If you use point 3, so 3 digit will come. You can see in the output, each output is have the only 2 digit. Okay, if you will not use this point 2, so more digit you will get after the decimal point. Okay, yeah. So let's move to the content. Yes, first thing is the program structure. So now this is the first program structure. We know that each program have some these type of things, parameters. So let's open one program. You can see here. Okay, so this is one sample program is given here. This is the definition of function. Okay, study main not is not given here. This is I think a complete one. Okay, yeah. So here you can see the first line is a this preprocessor directive, or we are including some header file in our program. As I said that this is the preprocessor directive, and this include is actually indicate that we are including some library in our program. Okay, so that I'll also show you how that things is actually happen on the compiler. Okay, but this is just a preprocessor thing, so that definition is giving here. So first thing is the a C program consists of several components that determine the structure of and behavior. First is preprocessor directive. Okay, so preprocessor directive are instruction to the preprocessor. Okay, so this hash is called as a preprocessor directive, and this actually a indication or instruction to the preprocessor is another program that actually it performs some task before the compilation process. Okay, but this has actually indicate to the preprocessor that some operation is required to perform before the compilation. And what operation that we have, so that some very common operations are include. Okay, so this include is of the one of macro, or we will also learn this in the detail in week 11. Actually, this is one type of macro, and that function is actually include the another library. Okay, And here some another type of function, we have this define. Okay, so that we can define some variable value like this. So that example is also given here. So you can see include, we are using this library, we are including this library in our program before running, and define pi this value. So what we are doing, here we are just writing a value 3.14159, but we have defined some naming for this like pi. Okay, and in our program, instead of writing this value, we can write like this pi. So any place in our program, if we write this capital pi, that will be actually replaced by this value during the running time. Okay, so we are defining some label or which we can easily recall or remember uh, by this some for some value actually. Okay, so this is called as a define something. This is also a one type of operation, preprocessor operation we have. Okay, so this is first step before running the program we have. After that we have the global declaration. Okay, so what is the basic idea of this global thing is, in this code. Okay, the global variable declaration. So after this function, before main function. Okay, so this is the main function which actually will perform, uh, but this area actually, okay, may outside of the main function is called as a global area. If we are declaring any variable like, this is also a similar level, you can give any name for this variable. So int global var 10. Okay, so this is a one variable of type integer that contains the 10 value inside this. Okay, and this global variable can be used in any place in your code. Okay, so that means you can use this global variable in main function, any other function also. Okay, that means this variable can be accessed in any of the part of the program. Okay, main, you can access this variable with this name in the main function or any other function, any place. So because of that, this is called as a global variable. And similarly, we have this declaration. We want to, if we want to declare any function, so we are telling to the compiler. So this is the prototype of the function. So we are telling that we will create one another function where the return type of the function will be integer, name of the function will be add, and these are the two parameter will be passed to the function. So this is just a declaration. We are just declaring that we will create this type of function in our code. Okay, and this declaration we can also do in the global area outside of the main function. Okay, so now these are the very common, you will learn regarding this function things. This time this is little bit difficult to understand, but later we will discuss this thing in the late details. Okay, so global declaration, as I said, that if you are declaring anything in the global area, that can be accessed from any part of the code. Okay, function declaration and definition. So declaration, we are just declaring the type of the function. So like what is the name of the function, what type of value will function will return, what type of value function is getting as a input. Okay, so this is the declaration. Definition means what is the actual action of the function. Okay, so what function is actually doing. So that definition we define like this. Okay, so function definition. So initially we just give the information of the function. So like name, return type, and parameter types. And here is the complete the definition of the function. Okay, so this means the function name is this, return type is this is the things, and now this is the body start and body finish. Okay, so function is also a small program, but that actually, or we can say that the block of the program. Okay, and we can run that block by just calling by using this name, function name, in our code. Okay, so here what this function is doing, this is returning a sum of a and b. Okay, so sum of a and b will be the integer type, so because of that we are returning. So you can write any sequence of steps and you can return the output by from this function. So this is the function definition. So here after that Next thing is the yeah. So function are block of code that perform a specific task. Okay, they can be declared and defined. The main function is the entry point of the program. So the main function is the entry point where the execution will start. Okay, so what is written inside the main function, that is will actually start, that compiler will execute from that point. Okay, so here you can see there are function declaration is given, another function is defined, that this is the main function. Okay, so compiler will check this, where is the main function and what is the first step of the statement of the main function, that will start execution. We can run another function by calling the function by the name of that function. Okay, so that we will discuss later. Okay, so statement and expression. Statement are individual lines and code that perform action. So now during the that what is actually code? What is code is just a set of instructions. Okay, so we are just telling to the compiler a sequence of steps, and that steps are written with the help of C programming syntax, and each that is line actually is generally represented as one statement of the program. Okay, that sequence of steps. So you can see this single line is a one statement, another line is another statement. So we have the sequence of statement to perform some task. And so statement are individual line of code that perform some action. Expression are just a combination of variables, operator, and function calls like this. Okay, so if we are writing like x equal to x plus 10, so this is called as a one expression, but that is also a statement. But inside the statement, that is actually an expression that contain the combination of all the things. So that value, operation, operators, and function type of call, because this function call is also will return some value, so that value will be replaced this call. Okay, so this become a expression. So this is called as a expression statement, we can also say. Yeah, comment is also one important for the C programming. So suppose if you want to write some statement, but we don't want to execute that part, that we want to only to understand the code for ourselves or someone else. So we can write some comments, that comments will be ignored by the compiler, will not be executed, and that is only for the documentation purpose. Okay, so that we want to understand that what is actually we are doing step by step. So that is actually a good programmer style. If you are writing a program, you can write a comment that what you are doing at that point. Okay, so that line will not be executed so by the compiler, but that is just a documentation purpose for us or any other one. So here how we can write the comment in code. If you want to write a single line comment, just use this double slash. Okay, double slash, and write your single line. So this is the indication that your code, this line is actually a single line command and will not be executed. And next thing is this, if you want to write a multi-line comment. Okay, so that means this is the starting point, slash and asterisk, and after that write multiple line, and that close, this is the close point. Okay, and asterisk and slash. So that part is actually will become a comment for the program, and this will be ignored by the compiler and will not be executed. Okay, this is only for the documentation or just a understanding purpose. So now this is the way of the writing a comment in our program. And after that, return statement. Yeah, so this return statement is used to specify the value to be returned from the function. Okay, and we are just we will return some value. I'll give some example how that actually return works. In the main function, it indicates the program exit status, you can see. So return in the main function actually indicate the exit status, how actually we are executing, exiting successfully without any issue or not. Okay, so this is just for the main function. Otherwise, another function we can return some specific value for our purpose. So let's you can I'm just running this code to just telling you how that will work actually. Okay, so you can use any online compiler. Okay, we have this GDB online. We have this very good actually that Python tutor, but inside this C language you can select. Here you can execute step by step. Okay, so how the execution is happen actually. So that I'll also explain. So let me execute one simple program here. So I am writing one that basic program has include st. Okay, so this is the one line and int main. Okay, and this is the main function we are writing here. After that we will write like print message, so print f, and we will pass the message, so hello world, and we are indicating like this is a one time. Okay, so this is just a message we are passing. Now I'll write this line multiple time and we'll check how the execution is happening. Okay, 5 times. So I'm changing the some data here, 2 and 3, and this is 4, this is 5. Okay, so now each statement is different. So now after that return 0, so this is just indication, exit status, and now our program is completed. Okay, so now this is simple hello world program, but we are printing a 5 line. But yeah, so how this actually will display in the output? So let's just print this message in the normal this compiler. Okay, so I'm running this. You can see how the output will come. So you can see hello world 1. Okay, hello world 2. All lines are coming in the same line. So how we can separate the line? So we have, there is one character we used to just just move to the next line actually. So here what happened, this compiler is printing this message and our cursor is waiting after that what is the next printing statement. So there is one new line character we have in the C, so with that we will use here, so that n. Okay, so we will put this after each line. So our cursor will move once this character will come. Okay, during the printing, so that means our cursor will move to the next line. So you can see now each line is coming in the next line. So that means when the printing will happen, so once this new line character, so this new line character is the combination of /n, and this is the just a moving the cursor to the next line to printing, so that output will come. So last line is not required, but yeah, we are getting the cursor in the after this next line. So in this way you can see we are getting this line and how the execution is happening. So let's run this code in the same that here. Okay, this, now this is actually a visualization, how you can see step by step how the program is running and where we have. So now you can see scroll down the C error, what is missed now, int main. No, not everything is working. What is this? Okay. So here actually this, now you can see this red arrow. So you can see this is the entry point of the code. Now our compiler have stopped at this line number 6. So this is the first statement of this our main function. Now when you click on the next button, you can see first line is now printed in the output. Okay, now your that compiler have moved to the next instruction of this. Okay, so now previous is done, and next instruction, now second line is printed. Okay, in this way you can see how the execution is happening, your flow of the execution, so how the instructions are executing one by one. So if statements are written sequentially one by one, top to down manner, this instruction will be executed one by one. Okay, and now you can see this is the return statement and your code is now complete. So this output, it is coming by your code step by step, you can execute your code, and during that you can understand that which statement is executing. Sometime later we will use the conditional statement, for loop, then you can easily understand that how the jumping is happening. Okay, so in conditional statement where you are jumping if the condition is true or false, for loop how you are jumping back. Okay, so that you can easily visualize by this portal on this editor, easily step by step how the flow of execution is happening. So this is the code which we are running here, and let's discuss the one complete code uh, with the which where the function is also given all these things. So you can see this. So I am not sure this line number will come or not. This code, yeah. Okay, so here this code is the same. So int global variable add, this is the one function, main function, and this x integer x equal to 5. Now we are calling a function add x and global variable. So x value is 5. We have defined in the code. Global variable is already defined above 10. So now this function we are calling from this point inside the main function, and the what is the means we are passing 5 inside this x, so 5 and 10 value we are passing, and that value will be passed to this variable a and b in the definition. Okay, so that means a will a become a 5 and b become a 10 from this call. So this is called as a call of the function, and this function will read as a 5 and 10 inside this a and b. After that what we are doing, we are returning a plus b. So 5 plus 10, this 5 plus 10 will return back to the position where this function is called here. Okay, so 5 value will be returned here at this point. Now just replace this function by the 5, so result equal to 5. Okay, so this is the meaning of the return things in the for function definition. So that means we are running the function code, after that we are returning some type of value, because of that we defined this return type integer, and this return value will replace the calling point. Okay, so where we are calling this function, so that the return value will be replaced this 5, and result equal to 5 is now become a new expression. So 5 will be stored inside the result, and that result we are printing by inside the main function. So here jumping is happening. The we will enter, so let's see how we are entering into the function and check. So you can see now the entry point is the main function, and after that next step is int x equal to 5. Okay, x equal to 5, this is that means 5 value is stored inside the x. Now next is call int result equal to add x, this. Okay, this is the call to the function. Now our jumping will move to this call. Okay, or what value we are passing, x and global. So x equal to 5 and global variable equal to 10. So these two value will be passed to the function. So here you can also see the data, what data is now passing. Okay, so just move to the next. You can see from this point our control is jump to the function that add. Okay, inside the add function. Now inside the add function you can see what parameter we are getting, a equal to 5 and b equal to 10. We pass this global variable is 10 and x equal to 5, but these two values passed to the function as a equal to 5 and b equal to 10 at this place. Okay, so first value in the call will be passed to the first parameter, the call will be passed to the second parameter. So now this is passed, so a plus b, this 15 value will be returned to this position. So now you can see jump back. Okay, so jump back to the same position. Now you can, now this is completed, this line is completed, so result become a 15. Okay, so that function is returning 15 and 15 is now returned and stored to result. Now our call jump execution is coming to the next line of this call. So print statement, this will print the output, so that is actually the output of our code here, result equal to 5. This is the message, this one, and now our code is completed. Okay, so in this way this execution is happening when we have this type of code where that function is also there, main function is also there. So you can see how, what is the meaning of this return things in the function. Okay, so I'm giving just basic idea right now. We will discuss all this what is parameter, what is this in the detail in the week 5 when the function is start. So yeah, this thing, now this is the basic about the structure of the program. Now comes to the next point, keyword in C. So keyword also known as a reserve word. So that means every language is made by some predefined collection of words, collection of that grammar, some grammars, all these things. So same way C is also made by that collection of keywords and some rules. Okay, so means keyword means the some name is given, some that predefined name is given for some specific purpose in our C code. So that means we will use this term break. Okay, so this break word is actually predefined in the function that C programming, and when we will use this break, so that have some specific task. Okay, according to the C programming. So some word we have which is already defined in the C programming language for some specific task, and that is called as a keywords in C. Okay, we cannot use these word as a variable name or function name like this. Okay, because this is already predefined and some purpose these word have actually. Okay, so this is called as a keyword in C. Okay, and there are lots of words, no need to remember this. Time to time we will learn each topic, so like conditional statement, for loop, this we will learn, and you will see all this keyword in time to time. Okay, and you will understand that what are actually these. So there are also not need to learn this actually. Okay, this you will learn just practice. When you will do the practice, time to time you will use this, and you will understand that what is the purpose of each type of this word. So you can see there are big list is actually there, because every language have the one set of that words. Okay, this is also not the complete one, and there may be a chance of some other words. Okay, but this is called as a keyword. Next is variable in C. So variable actually just as a labels. Okay, for the memory locations. So what are variables? Variable are named storage location in computer memory that hold data. So because data will always store in the memory. Okay, and each memory have the some address. Okay, address is in the terms of that binary or hexadecimal representation, that is like a b 0010, like this type of things that you can not easily use in your code. Okay, so what we are that C programming is doing actually, that is giving the name of the storage location so that you can define. Okay, so if you want to use some memory location, that you can give the name for that memory location, and name you can give for just easy to understand. Suppose if you want to store age of some person, so you can give the name of variable age. Okay, so that is, it is actually easily understandable. So variable are named storage location in the computer memory that hold data. Okay, memory hold the data, but we will just give a name for that memory. They are used to store the and manipulate data in the program. Later if you want to use that data, just use the variable name in your expression or any place. Okay, for updation like this. Variable declaration, yeah. So if we have some, if we require to store some data, we have, first thing we have to declare the variable. Declare means we have to tell to the compiler that what type of data that variable will store and what is the name of that variable. Okay, so that two things are required for the variable declaration in the program. So before using any variable, you must declare it. Okay, so if you are going to use any variable in your code, first declare it. Declare means just write it data type and name of the variable. Okay, so this is the syntax for declaration. So data type, and what type of normal data type we have? We have int, char, we have float, we have double. Okay, and these are very common data type we have. So you can just tell, just write any type of data which you want to store and give the variable name. Okay, you can give any variable name, but yeah, this naming also have some rule, so that we will discuss. That is also very important. So this is the syntax. If you want to use some variable which you want to store some age detail, so that is actually only you need to write like age will be the integer type value. Okay, and so that is a prior thing. You should know what type of data you want to store in your code. So if you know this, so that type of data type you need to declare. So int is the data type and age is a variable and semicolon. Okay, now this is become a one statement, and when this statement will execute, so compiler will provide a memory address location, and that location will be linked to this name age for your code. Okay, and later you can store the data in this location with the help of this name. So this is the declaration. Variable initialization. Okay, so uh, first time, or we can say that at the time of declaration, when you store the value in the that variable, that is called as a initialization. So initialization means you are first time initializing some value in the data store, that variable. So that is called as a variable initialization. So at the time of declaration, you can also initialize the value. So here you need to write like this. So int like this, int count. So this is a declaration. After that, you can also assign the value at that location. So that is equal to 0. So equal to 0 means this 0 value will be assigned to this memory location, which is linked to the count name. Okay, so that means you can simply call as a, now 0 is assigned to the count variable. Okay, yeah, so now this is declare also as well as the initialize also at the same instruction. So this is the single line instruction to declare and initialization the variable. Now this is very important for the exam purpose, naming rule. So you can give any type of name for your variable or function like this, but C have some specific rule for that. Okay, so for naming for the variable or function name like this, user defined things, they can include letters, digit, and underscore. Okay, these are the three things you can use in your naming. So letters are is that uppercase and lowercase like this, and digits are 0 to 9 and that underscore. Okay, you know this. So now in C is the case sensitive language. If you declare like capital H, okay, so capital A, capital G, capital E, H, okay, that will be different to the small e, A, G, E. Okay, so if you have declared like two variable, capital A, capital G, capital E, and another side small a, small g, small e, both are the age actually, but in C both will be the separate variable. Here this is the case sensitive language. So now just remember these things. If you have declared like a all small, so use later with all small, then you can access the data. They must start your second. This is the first rule. What characters you can use inside the naming. Second rule is they must start with a letter or underscore. So you cannot declare any variable uh, like a, let me just Open the compiler. Okay, so how we can declare any variable like this? So let's write here. So like int, I'm writing a name. Okay, and name, this is fine. So if I run this will run fine. No output to be, because we are not printing anything. Yeah, in the code actually, this part is actually a editor, and this black area which you can see lower, okay, where we are getting this output or something printing message, this is called as the console. Okay, we can pass some input from the console to the code at the running time, and our code can print some output to the console, which we are using the print statement. So like this, print f, like hello. Okay, so you can see this will come. Okay, so this is now coming in the console. Okay, so this console is the interface to the user interface to the code actually. Here from a console we can pass the input and we can get the output. So now you can see we are getting this correct, and let's we can also use like this. So 1 2 3. Okay, this is also correct. Okay, no error is coming, and we can also use underscore any place like this. Okay, still we are not getting any error, but we cannot use any numeric digit at the first character. Okay, we can start this name with any character, any letter, as well as the underscore, but we cannot start with the numeric digit. So like, let me just write like 1 here. So this code will give a error. Okay, this is not according to the rule. So, and we can also add this underscore before, but this is okay according to the rule, so there's no error. Okay, so just remember this rule: we can start the name with the letter and underscore, but not by the numeric digit. Or we can also not use any another special character, like in between we are using this at the rate. Okay, so this will also give the error. Only letters, underscore, and numeric digit. So this is the second rule we have. Okay, and next is variable names are case sensitive. As I already mentioned that case sensitive, my where and my where. These two representation are actually different in C. Okay, so here capital V is there in between, but here small v is there. So just remember these things. Suppose if you have declared the variable by this name and later you are trying to access the by this name, so that is actually incorrect. So that is case sensitive, so your type case should be same. C has reserved keyword that cannot be used as a variable name. Okay, so keyword which I have mentioned previously, the like int, this float, while, for, some words are there which is predefined in the C keyword. We cannot use it as a name of the variable name. Okay, so this is the variable name rules which you can just note down and you can remember when you are writing the code. Okay, so this you should must follow actually. So now this is the naming of the variable. Now comes to the data types. Okay, so data types, yeah, so every program we will work on the data actually. Okay, so we will read some input data, we will process that data, and we will return some output. Okay, so like this is the actually program. We will perform some task on some input and we will return some output, and that input will be in the form of some data. So what type of data actually allowed in the C? So one is very common, int. Okay, so this is the int, int is the representation in C, but the meaning is integer. Okay, so int, this have one data type, and this actually store the positive, negative, and zero number, whole number. Okay, and the memory size is generally 4 bytes in the that system, most of the system. Okay, but this may be different in the some another, like microcontroller or something. So this is not very strict, but most of the system will contain 4 byte memory for this data. Okay, like int age equal to 15. So we are declaring this variable as a int. Now suppose if you want to store a decimal value like that, so you this is the another type we have, float. Okay, and this also takes the 4-byte memory and store the decimal number with single precision. So here single precision means that have some decimal point limitation. So uh, if you are using this single precision, that means float, so only you will get a 6 decimal point value. Okay, so suppose if you have declared like float pi equal to this and you want to print this, so only 6 decimal digit will be come in the outputs. After that round off will be happen actually. Suppose if any big digit is coming, so that some round off will be performed. But for decimal type of value we have also one another type, double. Okay, so that actually have more accurate double precision. So use to store decimal number with double precision means still more decimal points. Okay, so that will store a more digit after the decimal point. So and size of for this is 8 byte. Okay, and char representation, this is a single byte. Okay, 1 byte data, only single type of character you can store, like this a c b d, any type of character you can store in the, and this data is stored within the single quote. Okay, if you are storing the data with the help of single quote, so this become a char character. You can store one also inside this, so that become a character, not a digit. Okay, so this is character. Now we have this type of bool, but that we have to include some library for that. Otherwise, generally we used as a boolean. Boolean means two value are possible, true or false. Okay, so for boolean value, true or false. So when we will use any condition, our condition will always return a true or false. Okay, suppose we are comparing number, then number, that condition will return a either true or false. So to store that type of value, we can directly use this representation like 1 or 0. So if our condition is returning 0, so that means output is false. Okay, if our condition is returning 1 or any value apart from 0, so that means generally our condition will return a 1, but any value apart from 0 is just considered as a true. Okay, so let's check this. So how this actually we can check. So you have already seen some conditional statement in normal that memory model programming. So I'm writing a one statement here. So let int a equal to 7. Okay, or we can say that 1. This is just input, and if I'm checking that if this is a even or odd. Okay, so I'm writing a condition here. So like a percentile, that percentile 2 equal to 0, and then we will print some message. So print f, this is even, and else. So this condition statement we will learn in the next week. But okay, I'm just giving some explain this. Printf odd. Okay, and return. So let's. So now this statement is written, and this a equal to 1. So let's run this. We are getting odd. Okay. Now if I change this a equal to 2, so you can see we will get even. Okay. So now based on the condition, so that means when we are passing a equal to 2, so this expression is actually we are checking if 2 divided by 2, and this percentage operation is just for the remainder, actually modulus operation, it will return a remainder value after division. So 2 divided by 2 is just a 0 remainder, so 0 will match with the 0. Yes, so both side we have the 0, so both are same. So that means this condition become a true, and it will, this part will execute. Okay, if this condition is not true, then this part will execute. So in this way you can see we are getting this 0 and output. Suppose let I'll change this to 1. Okay, Now it doesn't matter what type of value we are passing. Okay, one, only even will be print. Okay, so now we are not checking any condition. I am just writing a one. So one means true. I if I change this like as a any value 5, still only this even will print. Okay, so any value other than 0 actually considered as a true. So we at the place of that conditional statement, we are just passing a some value. Okay, that 5, 10, we can pass anything. So that will be considered as a true statement, true value. And if we are passing 0, so that will be considered as a false. So that means this condition is now false and we are entering inside this else part. So 0 is considered as a false. Other value apart from 0, it will be considered as a true. Okay, and generally conditional statement will return a 1 for true and false for 0. But sometimes you, if you see this type of statement, like, okay, sometimes you will see this while and 1. So while inside the while loop, value is given. So one means we are passing true statements. Condition return value as a true. So this is the meaning of the true and false in our for the conditional statement in our C programming. But we can also use this true and false, but we have to include some library for that. So this is not by default included. So I'm skipping this. So generally we will use the 1 or 0 things. Okay. So void is just to represent the absence of a value. So void is also one type of data. So typically used for function that do not return a value. So sometimes you will see we will use some function where we will not return any value. We will print something, we will perform some task, but we will not return something. In that case, we will use a return type void. Okay, that means we are not returning anything. The absence of value, we will use a
Excuse
void.
me, sir.
Huh.
Uh, Sir, please explain that example which you have done now.
A void,
No, sir. True and false.
true, false. Okay. Yeah, this one. Yeah, what's your query
Yes,
in this?
sir. Actually, you if 5 is equals to and it print the even function, right?
Huh. No,
Uh,
actually, I am not checking any condition for A here. I am saying that if I mention that like 3, okay, so here we are not checking anything. We actually inside this condition bracket, we are passing 3 values. So this 3 will be considered as a true. Okay, so that means our condition is now returning a true value. So for true condition, this part will execute. Okay. So this will be
okay.
just only as a this will be considered as a true value, 3, 4, 5, 6, any value. If we are passing like a 0, so this will be considered as a false value for this statement. Okay, so if this is false, that means else part will execute. Okay, in this case, our control will move to the else part. So this is the conditional statement. If condition is true, that this part will execute. If our condition is false, then only this part will execute. So instead of the condition, we are directly passing the return value of the condition, so that we can pass like as a true or false. So for false, we will passing as a 0. So that will be considered as a false. So false means else part, and true means this part. So true, for true you can write any value apart from 0. So like 8 you will return. So like 8 still only even will print. So this even is not coming by checking this is even or not. Okay, this is just a return
Means
type of the condition.
if the function is true, then execute the if
Yes,
statement,
if this block will be executed. So here actually
and
this is
if
the
false,
syntax.
then
Yeah,
else.
this is the syntax for if, and with the if we always write a condition. Okay, if our condition returns a true value, then this block is execute, which is written with the if. Okay, if condition returns a false value, then else part actually execute. Okay, these things we will discuss in detail in the next week. That is actually loop and conditional statement. But okay, but I am just telling you, in C, 0 represent a that the zero meaning is in the conditional statement return value, zero means false, other than zero means true. Okay, so this is our purpose to explain here. Okay, I am not explaining the conditional statement, I am just giving the example with the help of conditional statement. uh, okay, so now void, actually if we are not returning any things from the function, okay, so that we can return a data type void. Okay, custom data type, yeah, these things we will discuss later in the week 7 8. Okay, so that I am also skipping, otherwise it will create confusion. So that sort, okay, so some another version we have the data type for that. Let's, we have some sort range of the data. Suppose we want to store a small value, we don't want to waste our full memory. So okay, so we can also store a we can also use the another type of variables like sort. So this is one data type. So this is a data type that actually reduce the storage size of the integer. So as I mentioned that the previous int also store the integer value, but the size is 32 bit. Okay, 4 byte. But so 4 byte, that means we can store a large range of the numbers. Okay, so 2 to the power minus 31 to 2 to the power plus 31, like this. Okay, so that we have already seen in week 1 range that. But here suppose if we know that our value will always be small, and we can reduce the storage with the help of this sort. This is another data type that also store the integer value, but this will only take like 2 byte. Okay, range is also small for this. So 2 byte means 16 bit. Range will be like 2 to the power 15 to minus, and 2 to the power 15 in the plus side, like this. Okay, so sort int we will use, we are reducing the size of our main data type. So sort int small number. Okay, so that means we will store a small value. Here we will only use the 8 byte, sorry, 2 byte. Long, suppose we want to store a very big number. Okay, that's actually not comes under the range of integer 4 byte. So we will increase the size of integers with the help of this long. Okay, so this become a like a 4 byte to 8 byte. So that can store a big value of the integer. So in this way we can modified the type actually. So signed and unsigned also is there. Okay, so suppose we want to store only positive value, so we can declare like as a unsigned int. Okay, so this is one keyword, unsigned int. So that variable will always store a positive value. Okay, and if you want to store a signed value, so that means we will use a signed int. Or you can also use simple int for the sign purpose. Okay, so these are some modifications. Const, we want to so this is one a data type const double py equal to 3.144. Okay, so this is actually a const double. actually a
Sir, sorry to
constant
interrupting, but your
that
voice is cracking now.
make the variable constant that cannot be changed later in the program.
Hello, sir.
Sir, network issue.
Once it is defined, so
Hello,
we are
sir.
if
I'm
we are
audible.
writing like const double pi equal to this, so pi value is now become this value first time. After in the later in your program you cannot change the value of this pi. Okay, so this will become a fixed value in your code. Okay, so this is one a const. Now comes, so these are the very basic data type. Okay, so you can start with.
Sir,
Hmm?
sir, from your side, it's
Yeah,
a
what you are
network
saying?
issue. We can't see your voice is
What
also
happened?
breaking and a screen is not visible.
Okay, let me
Hello, sir, कहाँ गए?
Hello.
Plus,
Yes,
are
sir.
you
Yes,
there?
sir.
Actually, my system is hanged. Okay. Just, am I audible now or
Yes, sir.
still?
Yes,
Yes,
you
sir.
are audible now. Screen is not visible.
Screen is not shared yet. Just give me a minute. Okay, so okay. And now it is visible or not?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Hello. Okay. Still, it is now hanging little bit. So it will take maybe 1 2 more minute for the fluent. 1 second. Hmm. So my that summary page is visible now.
Yes, sir, it
Yes,
is
sir.
visible.
Okay. 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 So as I mentioned that that sign const that I have already mentioned. So now operator, yeah, operator part actually I wanted to discuss. Now am I audible properly or it is still breaking?
It's fine now, sir.
It is fine. It is understandable.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Sometimes
you.
it breaks. It is okay.
So actually my laptop become heat. So let's- okay. So this is the operator. So you know that every language require this operator for some specific task. So we have this first very common arithmetic operators: plus, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. These are the very common. But here, yeah, here multiplication is the asterisk sign. Okay, asterisk sign in your keyboard. And this is the one difference. And this percentile is represent as a modulo, and it returns a reminder after the division. Okay, so these are the arithmetic operators we have in the C. So now you can practice this task. So let copy this and check on the, still it is hanging. Okay.
Sir, maybe you can open your task manager and kill any task which is taking high CPU.
No, it is actually not due to that any task. So this is happened due to some heatness in my laptop actually.
Okay.
Uh, okay, so yeah, actually it will take some time to become normal actually. Okay, so actually this my pen is still not working correctly. Hmm. It is still lagging. Okay, so I'm explaining this by verbally. So this are the basic operators. You know that. Now relational operator I'll talk about. Relational operators are for just a conditional statements like this. If we are comparing something, okay, we are comparing some left side and right side of the expressions. So that we will use some these operators that is called as a relational operators that check the relation and that returns a boolean value, either true or false. And in the terms of integer, uh, true means once and false means zero. Okay, so this is used inside the condition most of the time. So that is equal to operator means we are checking the equality of the both left and right side. Okay, so both left and right value are equal or not. So this is the equal double equal sign we use for the equal to. Not equal to, that means we are checking that our values are not equal. Okay, so this is the condition. If we use between two value, and if and value are not equal, then this operator will return a true value. Okay, so that means we are checking for the not equality. So not equal sign we will use. If this is returning true, that means our value are not equal. Okay, next is less than. That means left, if we are checking like 4 is less than 5, so that means this is a true. Okay, so we can compare the number, which one is the less, like this. Greater than, we have less than, equal to. So less than equal to means, suppose we have equal sign is also there, so that means left side value should be less than or equal to what happened,